What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie review. Real quick before I start the review, I just uploaded a video talking about this upcoming Q&A that I'm going to be doing, and everybody that enters questions on the comments of that video will be, entered into a contest where you could win all these zines. It's going to be an awesome time, so go ahead and check out that video, leave some comments, and with that being said, on with the Reservoir Dogs talk, man. This is an amazing film. This is actually, I can't remember if I seen Reservoir Dogs first or Pulp Fiction first, but for some reason I think I might have seen Pulp first. Regardless, this is my favorite Tarantino film. I've yet to see City on Fire. I believe it's called City on Fire. It's an Asian film that apparently Tarantino took a lot of inspiration from. So I'm always interested in checking out the movies that he's been inspired by, because a lot of times they're pretty fucking decent movies, man. I can't lie. So the other night, me and Kayla decided to watch Reservoir Dogs. And right off the bat, when you're talking about a movie like this with like an ensemble cast, I'm always quick to point out who my favorite person is. And my favorite of the Mr. Colors, or whatever you want to call them, is Mr. Blonde, played by Michael Madsen. The reason I like him the most is because, first of all, he's the most psychotic, and you don't, like, there's all this hype built up around his character about how he did all this crazy shit at the heist. Like, he shot that black girl. What was she, 19, 20? Like, I love Cattell in this film, first of all, but Michael Madsen, I love his character. I love his, like, interlude, or, his sort of backstory that he has with Joe and Nice Guy Eddie. How, like, you can tell Nice Guy Eddie and him were, like, really good friends. Mr. Blonde obviously goes to prison, doesn't rat and anything. He's taken care of by Joe, and he comes out, and like I just love all of that, and I love how their friendship is used later on in the film when Mr. Orange kills Mr. Blonde, and then when everyone comes back to the rendezvous, Orange is like, oh, he said he was gonna kill everyone and make off with the diamonds, and then Nice Guy Eddie gives us like that really awesome speech about how, like, they dangled everything in front of him. All he had to do was say my father's name and all that shit, man. And then, so out of the fucking blue, he's going to decide to rip us off. And, like, you see, like, the spit flying out of Chris Penn's mouth. Chris Penn, man, a fucking fantastic actor. Gone way too soon before his time, for sure, because I think his performance in this film, and I believe he's also in Corky Romano, which is another film that I haven't seen in years, but I really loved that movie, and I always thought he was cool in that. So this is definitely the movie for Chris Penn, in my opinion. But every character does their thing. Mr. Orange, I think, is really interesting too. Might be my second favorite of the characters, because of he's got the cop backstory, and he delivers like that monologue. Like, there's that really good scene where he's describing that the fraudulent details of this drug deal, where he ended up being in a bathroom with all these police officers and like a German Shepherd and all that. Like, that, all of that is really cool, and I like how it starts off with him and that other cop, like, on the rooftop, and he's like, what, I gotta memorize this? This is like 4 fucking pages. And then, he starts memorizing it in his apartment, and then it goes into like that like spot where it's like an old abandoned building, like covered in graffiti. Like, great sets in this thing. And like, one thing that's cool is you can tell like Tarantino is a comic book guy, because like all throughout this film there's like little posters of like Silver Surfer and like Jack Kirby drawings and shit like that, and like talks of the Thing, how Joe Cabot looks like the fucking Thing. Love that shit, man. Mr. White is a really good character as well. I love him. He's made some stupid decisions and stuff, and kind of took the side of this kid that he doesn't even really know, and like, that's the thing, like, you can't really put your trust in anyone, especially in a criminal world element, because there's so many snakery things happening all the time. Now, Steve Buscemi as Mr. Pink, I think, is phenomenal as well. I think he's got one of the coolest, my favorite parts of his character is how he doesn't tip. And like, it goes into like this whole thing, like his whole reasoning behind it. Like, I really like that, and it's convincing. Even Mr. Orange goes, he convinced me, give me my $1 back. Love that shit, man. Love the conversations. Like, that's the thing about Tarantino. Love him or hate him, there's a lot of movies that he has good conversations with. Like, obviously the banter between Jules and Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction, like leading up into that apartment, like that's all really fun. And like their talk of the like a virgin thing at the breakfast table is really interesting and funny to me. And you know, this movie takes like that weird editing vibe where it's bouncing around, much like Pulp Fiction, but like it works here. I think it works here better than Pulp Fiction. You know, I really like Pulp Fiction, but I would prefer Kill Bill 1 and 2 as a whole, like counting as one, and this over Pulp Fiction all day. Even Django, I'd rather watch than Pulp Fiction, to be honest with you. I love Django. I know a lot of people talk shit about Django and, you know, this and that, but I like it. I'm a fan of Westerns. I'm not like a total Western junkie. Like there's a bunch of stuff on my backlog I want to watch. Like there's this movie called The Great Silence that this guy I watch, Razor Fist, the Rageaholic. He does really good videos talking about movies and, you know, different shit like that. I've actually recently watched a couple of his live streams where he was playing Red Dead Redemption, and I just had like my headphone in listening to it, and, you know, really fun stuff. Kind of makes me want to play Red Dead again, to be honest with you, but yeah, that Great Silence is where I learned. I learned about the Great Silence from that fucking guy. So, a couple of the guys that you don't really get much time with, Quentin Tarantino's character, Mr. Brown, and then, or maybe he might have been he's Mr. Brown, and then there's that other guy that's Mr. Blue, who's like this older dude, smokes a big cigar. I don't really think he has many lines in the film. He's got like a couple of lines at that breakfast table, but that's it. There's some really good shots. I'm obsessed with shots where it's like a guy pointing guns, and there's a good shot of Harvey Keitel doing that with like his glasses on, shooting the shit out of these cops. Like really good time, man. Lots of good bullet hits in this movie. It's bloody. I believe it's K&B effects, so you know, you're not getting like monster makeups, but you are getting some good graphic bloody stuff. That guy gets his ear cut off. That's one of the, you know, the most iconic scenes in the film is when Michael Madsen's listening to Stuck in the Middle with You, torturing a cop, pouring gas on him and all that stuff. Like that is like a good scene too, because I watched an interview with Tarantino before, and he said like with that scene, you know, like, you know, you enjoy his little dance with him, his music, and then boom, all the hard stuff starts with the razor and all that shit. Like, you know, I love how he's like, you listening to K Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s? It's my personal favorite. And like he's talking like water cooler talk with this guy, but he's literally like preparing to torture this fucking. It's insane. It's an insane scene. I love it. It's compared to a lot of stuff I've seen. It's not that like it's not a violent. It's violent, but I've seen way more violent film than this. Like Kill Bill's a more violent film than this. Like this fucking movie is bloodshed city. Kill Bill. Love that shit, man. But Reservoir Dogs is especially important to me because it came out the year I was born. So we got Candyman, we got Reservoir Dogs, and those two movies kind of like are movies I really love, and that's the year I was born. So I have a close connection to these flicks. I love good movies that were made during the year I was born, because welcoming these movies welcomed me. All right, we'll leave it at that. So I appreciate everybody for watching. If you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs, or you have any you know, reserves of watching it, fuck off. Watch the thing. It's great. Definitely check this flick out before you. I would say watch them in order. Like when it comes to directors, like if you've never seen a Tarantino film, watch them in order, because they get progressively. Well, you know, some of them I'm not that crazy about, but you know, they're all pretty decent in their own way. But yeah, man. Again, make sure you go ahead and check out that Q&A video I posted, and again, you'll be able to win all these zines and some stickers and whatnot. So I'll throw in some little extras. You know, I like to do shit like that. So with that being said, make sure you leave a 666 in the comments of this video. And with that being said, adios.